Hey guys, what's up? It's ASADAH, and you are here for another episode of ASADAH Says. Yes, I love this show, and I love who I have on this week. Ooh, and I love who we have on today. But I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the female solution. If you don't know what that is, you gonna know what it is. Let's just take a minute and let's just see for ourselves what the female solution is about, and then you'll understand more what I'm about. See you shortly. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back after these messages.
Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the female solution.
Hercules, Hercules, Hercules. Thank you so much, Naima Latif, for giving us this platform. And man, today, if you don't know, this month of May, I've focused on happy Black marriages. Why? Because I don't think we see Black love enough. And when it goes right, we need to see that. And I don't think we see it go right enough. So let us learn today, baby, from a couple that, oh, what would I do without them? I'm not really sure. And you're going to find out why. We are bringing together what? Byron and Soleil Harden. Let me bring them in. There go my baby. What's up, fam?
Grand Rising.
Peace
How
and
you
blessings.
doing? How you doing this morning?
Hold on, I got to get me a frame up close on y'all. Let me see. Ooh, yeah, let me
Am
look
I
at
in the
that.
frame? I know I got to be
Baby,
like
you in
uber
the
close.
frame. You better lay on that boy's shoulder, boy. No,
That's
you good.
exactly. That keeps me in the frame.
God, you're so good. Thank you so much, both of y'all, for being here. You have no idea how much I adore you. Why? Because you really helped me through so much. Now, I could do a couple of things. I could let him keep talking about whatever the heck he's talking about right now and do that. Or I could show a video that I want to show of him so it kind of sets the stage. Can we go to video? Can we do that real
Okay.
quick? All right, we're
Sounds
going to
good.
do that.
Of me? What video is it?
Don't you worry about that. I'm doing it. Nah, just be quiet.
My name is Byron Harden. The name of my project is The Family Recording. The Family Recording is a 5-song EP produced by myself here at IC Music. What we do is we train the totally blind and visually impaired in audio production and studio engineering. And the artists that are going to be on this particular project are going to be singer-songwriters, mixers, mixing engineers, recording engineers, some of our past learners. Blind individuals like myself, I operate Pro Tools. The average sighted person would look at that and say, how in the world is that even possible? All these buttons and colors. And so how do you get a real sense of the art if that's the case? Understanding the framework first makes it all make sense. It makes for a more resourceful Pro Tools user. In my sessions, I'm the only blind person in it. I'm the lead engineer. And I can edit faster than the sighted engineers in the room. And so now if we're talking about the family recording, they come in already talented beyond belief. Now when you start to plug that in with other creatives to be able to manifest those ideas on their reel or on their, credits that they can use for resume purposes, that, hey, look, these are viable options to hire. What we're going to do is we're going to be able to pay those learners for their services and contributions to the project. And we plan to release this thing in January 2023. All those 100% of the proceeds will go to blind youth summer camp for audio technology. Once they donate to the project, I want them to feel like they're actually making a real difference in someone's life, because that's what we're here on the planet to do, is to change perspective. So yeah, that's what makes me really stoked about this particular project.
I just need these heads to understand what's going on around here. Y'all need to understand who we're dealing with now. And of course, that's just one half of the dopeness. But
Hmm.
people don't really, and I keep saying overstand because I want to. Yo, the excellence of it. So y'all talk to me about you and this bond because that's really why we're here. That's only a little bit of what y'all bring to the table. First of all, let me just say this whole bond was a big surprise to me because I
Hmm.
like, where she come from? Where that girl come from? Look, he had been talking about you, and I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever you talking about, whatever. You got to meet her because she this, she that, she this, she that. But I'm only putting you in like a context of how you can add to my business. But then the next thing I'm like, wifey poo, talk a little bit about it, y'all. How did you all connect? How did you meet? And yeah, let's talk about that. I
Ladies
want to hear
first.
that. Ladies first, good.
Okay, so the origin story. Really interesting, very unexpected. I was turning 50 and I had been writing, so I was like really picking it back up again after putting it down for many years. And I was hosting a birthday party. And so I was going to do a spoken word at the birthday party. It was during 2020, so everything was remote, which made it perfect because I have friends that live all over the place. Nobody had to travel, so we were going to do it on Zoom. So I decided that I wanted some music because I was really feeling like Love Jones. We do my spoken word and some music. So I had reconnected with someone that I knew from my 20s. And originally, he was going to do the music, but he couldn't. His schedule didn't allow for it. So he says, no, this really amazing guy. He was in the band, blah, 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 which I knew nothing about. I was in California in the Bay Area and was not familiar with blah, blah, blah. And so he said, he's dope. He's professional. You'll really enjoy working with him. What do you want? Blah, blah, blah. Linked us up, connected us. So initially we didn't talk at all. Initially it was just going through the friend. And then after the party, after I had the music, everything, then I said, oh, I want to thank him, let him know, give him, some feedback on the track he produced, all of that. So then that was our first like introduction. And we just had a really dope connection because Byron is like so down to earth, so easy to talk to, just very relatable. And the thing that he said, I don't remember if it was you, which one of us said it first. Do you remember who said it?
What?
I'm going to tell you this about the Black Renaissance.
I said that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you? I don't know.
I mean, whoever said
Whatever.
it, yeah.
What we were talking about was it was time for Black people. It was a renaissance. It was necessary for it to happen, and we were just like in simpatico, like yes, absolutely, without question.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was kind of like when we think back in retrospect, like a recognition, of one another, and then we ended up talking later and we were just as friends. It was another conversation as friends. And at that particular time, I didn't know he was blind. It didn't even come up in the conversation. And I don't remember why we had the follow-up talk. Why did we have the follow-up talk?
Probably because I didn't have enough on the first one.
Okay. We had the follow-up talk and it was the three of us again, right? The three musketeers talking. And we they started talking about Byron being blind. And I'm on the phone like, blind? Did they say blind? Did he say blind?
Right. What?
Right. It's not your everyday conversation for most people.
Right.
So I was stunned, especially that he was producing music and had produced this track for me and all. It was like, wow. So he's telling his story and I'm like, wow, this is amazing. I'm like, this is so inspirational. You're so inspirational. People should really know your story. Have you had a book written, blah, blah. And so he was more or less like, well, a few people have asked me, but I've never felt comfortable with anyone that was asking to write my story. But I do have this podcast. So he sent me a link to this podcast and asked me to listen to it. And at that time, I was like, you know, when you've been like working on something, some project, and you were just exhausted, and yet you still need to finish a little bit of what you're working on, but you
Okay.
are tired. So he's like, when I saw it was like an hour. I was like, oh my God, I'm so tired. I don't know when I can put this on. I don't know when I can listen to it, right? But I was like, I'm gonna break it down into little segments. How can I say I can't? How am I saying I'm not gonna listen to the blind man's podcast about the story? Right? I told him.
So silly. You silly kid. You silly kid. What you doing?
I'm gonna have to listen to it, right? So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do 15-minute chunks. So when I
Yes.
started, I was like, just do 15 minutes, girl. You can do it. You can do it. I do the first 15 minutes, and next thing I'm so engaged. I'm
Mm-hmm.
listening to it like 45 minutes. I'm crying.
Yes,
I
you
was
are.
like, it's one of the best things I had ever heard in
Get her,
my
Byron.
life.
Get her.
I was
Mm-hmm.
blown away. I was blown away.
Wow.
And a lot of it was him talking about his journey, but really a lot of how he orients people in his work to
Gotcha.
the people that he trains and the techniques that he uses and the perspective that he had that we as sighted people just know very little to nothing about because we don't orient that way. So I am a person who is all about development, personal development, learning always. And so it just was like, there's an entire world that we are asleep on, you know?
Wow. Wow.
And so that got us going. And they convinced me, I'm going to say they convinced me to take on the writing of his story. So that's how we really got to know each other, is me
Okay.
starting to do interviews with him just to get his story out so that it could be in his another format, which was to be a book format. So that is how we met.
Did you hear her say the origin story? Did you hear that? You heard that, Byron?
I heard
I
it.
mean, right. And the thing about it is, I know there's another side to this story, so I'm gonna let you give your version of your experience, Byron. It could be the same, it could be not. But what I do want to say is it takes, or it took, a woman of this magnitude to even appreciate what you had to put on the table. I'm gonna say that off the cuff. Like
Mm,
you have to have a certain mind and a
mhm,
certain thinking mind to see, like, to make complex simple, and vice versa. And so
Mm,
I loved, when you were trying to tell me about my girl. I'm doing book fair stuff. I'm like, yeah, okay, what are they talking about? Yeah.
mm.
And he like, she's really dope, she's this, she's that. But I really just I didn't understand it at all until I met you. But before I get into the excellence of that, so Byron, what's up? Is your story the same? Did I really want to know about your perceptions about uh who was stepping to the table, because I'm always
mm,
interested in what makes men make the decision to choose that woman. And I kind
mm.
of want to hear that. I want to hear, what made you know that she was it.
Yeah, I think that's an extraordinary question. One of the things that we, as far as us at the beginning, what I was most impressed with, it was a vibration that was there, and it was very familiar. And I really don't often get that. It was almost as if I had manifested like this perfect scenario, and from a child, from I can remember, like, as a child, like, say, oh man, my girlfriend's gonna be named, my wife is gonna be named, and it's her name, you know
Mm,
and this noun to be in, at the time I'm 40 something, right? And so,
Mm,
hmm,
yeah.
that's about right, yeah. And so
oh,
it's like,
come on.
whoa, this is way too close to home, and home is really, at the fourth chakra. So it made sense, everything. I'm not going to go into depth around that, but the fact of the matter was that I personally I I don't know if she felt this way, but I mean, it was really like it was a foundation that was there, and I felt super comfortable with opening up and being, who I really am. And that's, I think that's a unique place
Mhm.
for people who are getting started in a romantic lane. We were not getting started in a romantic lane, okay, which made it even better and made me feel it way better, because at that time I was fresh into my self-actualization mode
Mm.
as a black man, and I just wanted to be a better, so yeah, I want to be of better service. I wanted to be, just a better me, and I really wanted to start dialing into my spirituality. And this is
Mhm.
probably the most impressive thing about Soleil is, her connection to source, and I found it fascinating to be able to put my cards on the table face up and be like, hey, here's my hand, this is
Mhm.
me. I never
Mhm.
had that before, where the the representative shows up on the first date, that kind of thing, right? And that's like
Mhm.
that for the first 5 years of a relationship.
Okay, gotcha.
And once things start to get going, it's like, oh, okay, now you're really putting your feet on the ground, and the ground is shaky. Okay, I didn't know this crack was here. And so now to have that, at least where we're working on our fundamentals of our relationship now, these are things that I think that are much more advanced conversations that we're able to have than
Mhm.
I've never had these advanced conversations in my past relationships.
Nice.
So I think to notice that from up top was pretty extraordinary, and really really grateful for that.
Ah, hold on. Where my tissue at? Hold up. I told y'all to get y'all tissue. Wait. I got my own tissue. So what I have so much I can say and ask and whatever about you guys, but what I love is the union of you as thinkers, because you
Mm.
said something just now about advanced communication. I think you said,
Yeah, advanced topics. Yeah, communicating
yeah,
on advanced topics, emotional stuff. I say advanced for a man because we're dialed in as black men. We're dialed in to be tough, rough, and all of this kind of machoism,
mm-hmm,
and not really having a clear understanding of balance and harmony, around the
mm-hmm,
energies of feminine and masculine energy. We're just not
mm-hmm,
taught that. You see it in
mm-hmm.
the pimp culture, you see it in, all over. And I am going to say something. I'm going to quote a very good friend of mine, that we do have a problem in the black community,
Mm-hmm.
and it is around the black brothers who are wishing to be other than themselves.
Mm-hmm. 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 Look at that. I'm very appreciative when a black man can state the facts about what you're going through, decisions you got to make, and when you welcome support, primarily
Yeah.
in the person that you choose to be with. Because it does take on both sides, one, a security in oneself, period, so that you're not depending on the other person to fill that void. You already got that filled with the things you like about yourself. But then it takes a big being to complement and support a big being. It's just that simple, so that you can
Yeah.
have advanced conversations. I love the word advanced because it's just like right up there with excellence, right? You gotta be with excellence to talk about it, so that the things aren't mundane. And what we talking about, going to the movies or what we doing? Like, just we
Right.
talking about
Yes.
what we talking about. What's your favorite color? No, we're not doing that. We're actually looking at things that we can establish, and which leads me to what the question of what do you guys, and I might jump around chronologically, I'm not too sure it's what I feel, but what do you guys think this union created, the
Mm.
coming together? What do you think it created now going forward? How, yeah, I might throw another question in to say, how do you think, it might be separate, but that's fine. how do you think that union end up enhancing you or taking away, whatever, impacting you? Let me say that.
Okay. I'm gonna take that question first, and I'm gonna go back a couple steps, because
Yeah.
when I'm telling you about the origin story, I'm telling you from like the moment that brought us to actually meeting. The
Yep.
real origin story obviously precedes that.
Okay.
So we got to the meeting, which has to do with the answer to your question. Um, for Byron mentioned his period of when he had been self-actualizing, and I had been on my spiritual journey and actualizing and doing mirror work and shadow work and healing trauma and just doing all this stuff, and spent a real season just being with myself and being okay with fully embracing and being with myself, learning, studying, growing, praying, meditating, fasting, sacrificing. I mean, the whole gamut. One thing I want to really, really, really stress is that if I were not in divine will and purpose, I don't meet Byron. It is through listening to the promptings, the direction, the guidance of spirit, and aligning with that that brought me to that moment. Because if I'm saying no to that, I'm somewhere else. I'm not there on that timeline for that moment, for that meeting, because I'm not doing the things that brought us together, that brought us into that connection with each other. So one of the things that I had prayed about was for a new sound, because I was really, I love music. As a kid, I was always listening to music, always playing music. I used to play instruments when I was a kid. And so I had just really started to not enjoy the music as much. And I wasn't listening to it very much. And so I had started to pray. It was like some years ago. This was like 2011 or something. And so I started praying about a new sound and new music. And so when we meet, and he's a musician, an extraordinary musician, and he has very unique music that I'll let him talk more about it, but it's like cosmic and soundscape and just meditative and contemplative. And it just feels like the structure of it is just different than what you hear on the radio. It's
Gotcha.
deeply moving. And so that is one of the main things, like you're talking about vibration, like with music, with sound. So we are creative ascension partners. That is actually our term, even though we are legally
Hercules. Wait.
married.
Oh no. Wait. No. Stop. Hercules. 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 Wait. What you say? Creative ascension. You said creative ascension partners.
Yes.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
So
Continue.
before we were, did the legal marriage, we were creative ascension partners. We're both creatives. Naturally, I'm a writer, and I do some other things, quilting, pottery, different stuff that I'm into. And Byron is, a musician, multi-instrumentalist. And so
she's skating over. She dope.
I know. I'm gonna let you tell it, baby. Go ahead.
But the ascension part is really when we recognized in one another that we were both on our spiritual journeys and we could support each other there. And that was happening really organically through working on his story and his book, just the things that were coming up. And in that was something that I always desired in my mate, is someone that I could link with spiritually, because I didn't want to be in a relationship for companionship. Companionship is dope, but if I'm in a relationship that's just really kind of for companionship, it doesn't keep my interest. It doesn't do the thing for me. I need more than that.
Come on, Aquarian sister. That's right. Continue.
I need more than that. And so what it really enhanced for me, especially because he was also in the place where he was looking at what masculinity really truly is, what divine masculinity was. And I was over here in California in another space, doing the work on my divine feminine. When we connected, it was like, whoa, you into this, and it really put us into a place where it was like, we can walk on this journey together. But before that, it was just our friendship, where first we were just like gosh, like we're best friends. Like it was like, wow, we were like brother and sister. Like we could have grown up together. It's like just a lot of synergy. And
Yeah.
then so when we actually first got the divine message that it was for us to walk together in this way, in a romantic way, we were first initially like, we don't want to mess up what we got going on. This is amazing. Because
Yeah.
obviously everything else had failed previously, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you don't want that again when you are having such an incredible connection with someone that definitely you feel a sense that it's cosmic. So to go back and kind of circle back to the question, it is a development in your evolution of yourself,
Yeah.
of your beingness, of your purpose for being here on the planet. All of the
Yes.
creative fruit that comes out of that is amazing.
Mm.
One of my dearest, dearest, dearest friends, also Aquarian, and I'll say this because I think it really accentuates a lot of what our relationship is she said,
Mm-hmm.
he multiplies what you bring.
Hey.
He multiplies. He's a multiplier. And I would just share like, wow, I shared this idea with him and then he added this to it. And it was so refreshing and so awe-inspiring to be met, to be seen,
Nice.
to be recognized, to be met, and not
Mm.
have someone trying to deter you, diminish what you're doing, sidetrack you, tell you why it's not going to work,
Yeah.
anything like that, but who's fully meeting you, holding you up, supporting you, championing you, adding, multiplying, saying, hey, you're doing this part. This is how I can support you. Because when I
Wow.
was doing my writing, I shared the writing. He's like, let me hear it. I want to know what you're doing. I was like, really? He's like, let me hear it. Let me
Nice.
hear it. Send me some stuff. Send me some stuff.
Yes.
Next thing I
Yes.
know, he's like, I'll sound design it. It's not accessible. You know what? You need this to be an audio book. You know what? I'll do it. I'll do the sound design. Like, whoa, what?
Yes.
I mean,
Lovely.
when you as you know as astonishingly talented as Soleil, you kind of you don't have to really sell yourself, right? And I was sold when I first, as I just first start experiencing the writing, like I was like, oh man, because it was very visual. And so I know why. I mean, she does a lot of work around sensory exercising and things like that, so she's very aware of the senses and being multi-sensory oriented. And so in her writing is where I was able to find a lot of secrets around other senses. And so
Gotcha.
I was like, well, let me put some paint, what I mean, where I think it should go based on what she's saying. So
Okay.
and I know that she was, you kind of, you weren't just getting started, right? But you were getting back to
No.
like
Yeah.
and so that was her writing is as serious as she was taking. And I was like, this is ooh wee ooh wee it was easy. I'm going into sound libraries and picking different sounds. I'm shaping sounds. I'm recording them here in the studio. And I'm doing a lot of work that was not work. This was my message back to her. Like, I see you.
Mm-hmm.
I see you. And so I was committing that to, we was already married at that point. I didn't even know it.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
the, the,
Yeah.
the,
That's
the wedding ring really was the project, at the end of the
yeah.
day.
Nice. He said the wedding ring was the project. Oh, lovely. It's so funny. I'm writing things down. You're supposed to have your questions. No, I'm writing what you saying. I'm like, wait a minute, what you think? Let me let me get that point down. What he say? So I mean, it's just, and it's so funny that you said he multiplies what you bring. But while you were getting ready, you know what he said to me? He said, I'm a multiplier. That's what he said to me
Ah,
a few minutes ago. And I was like, Hercules, Hercules. Like, they don't, that's when
yes.
you know the synergy is just there. It's nothing really to talk about. And I really felt so good about your union because those of us that are big and do big things in the world, who supports those people? Like we out there supporting the world, creating things for the world. But the only thing, it's just that the world doesn't really have what is necessary for us to build us. And so it's so good when we find one another because, wow, you can really, in your human form, in your spiritual form, in your, there's a relationship that's overstood. And that language being overstood is so important because then you ain't got to break nothing down. Ain't nobody talking about what you mean by that. What? What you talking about? What I mean by that? I used to be in a situation where somebody would say, "What you trying to say? Are you trying to say that, Nick? I mean, look, Mickey Ficky, I I did not say that. You understand? So I love the synergy. Like I wrote that down, synergy and a bunch of things. We're gonna go to a commercial break.
Okay.
It goes too fast. But when we come back, I'm gonna share some images. I want to hear about some of your travels because y'all don't just sit down and watch no TV. Like y'all be out and culturally
Do we own a
experiencing
TV? We don't even have a TV.
right,
We have to have a
exactly.
TV.
Right, but the reality is no, y'all go experience things and I never hear hindrances. So let's just take a minute, take a quick break. We'll be right back, you guys.
Okay.
After
All
these
right.
messages. Peace. Great day. It's your girl ASADAH here to introduce a new female solution show called ASADAH Says. That's right. Every month we're going to talk about everything I am, from cryptocurrency and financial security to good health and parenting strategies. Come on and talk with me every Tuesday morning from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. And let's do that thing the way ASADAH says it should be done. See you then. Peace right here on the Female Solution.
Literacy is freedom, and we have a literacy crisis. Children should learn to read from pre-K to third grade. They should practice reading from 4th to 6th grade, and they should read to learn beginning in 7th grade and continuing through 4th grade. This video is sponsored by Rico Nance and Chemistry Steak and Brunch House in Hyde Park, Chicago.
All right, we are back, babies, and I'm really so happy to have my guest today because I've said it before, we don't show Black love enough, period. So on ASADAH Says, guess what? ASADAH says, happy Black marriages do live. And we got proof, baby. I'm bringing them on again. Hercules, Hercules, Hercules. We got Byron and Soleil Harden. I can't even say of this particular company, and I'm not really focused on that right now. I need us to hear, let's chronicle the successes in our relationships. Sometimes people say stuff like, well, it's not always perfect. Well, I'm not talking about that. We always talk about that. We always talk about what don't work. So I'm not talking about that, right? What were your challenges? I don't care about that. I want to hear about the triumphs.
What worked?
What worked? Can we please talk about what worked? So I want to, with your union, you coming together. How long have you all been together actually now?
Well, 4 years. Now we're moving into, I've been here for 3 on June 19th. I would have been here for that amount of time. And when I say the 4 years, I'm gonna hold that with care, because really that was a foundational friendship year that we were both really intent on.
Okay.
But it was in the spirit of, we've heard, we believe that this is where we will go, but we're going to make sure that we lay the proper foundation for it. And we both had stuff to clear out, clean up. And so it was a real beautiful incubation time. So it was something that we were doing simultaneously, but like together separately. Right. So there is preparation. And I think that's one of the really key things that worked for us, is making sure that even once there's preparation before we meet, but then there's preparation once we meet and once we understand where we're moving forward to.
Yeah.
And that is so, so, so key, because I think a lot of times we don't take that time that's necessary to say, okay, well, let's pause. And what do we need to do so that we ensure, as opposed to getting caught up and swept away like you're in your 20s or even in your 30s. And so by this time you should have enough.
See what I got.
See where that got you, right? Like that is not the way, that is not the path for longevity. And and in that, I want to actually share something, a resource, because I think that's oftentimes also what's missing, is we don't oftentimes have the resources, because a lot of times we don't see healthy marriages in our childhood. Either our parents aren't together, maybe the grandparents were, or they were, but they were just together, sharing a household, but you don't see it modeled. And so you're coming up in different levels of estrangement, different levels of disconnect. And we don't think about how that impacts us in terms of your own attachment styles, because it doesn't necessarily show up then. You're thinking about it. You love your parents, they have a positive relationship to you. Hopefully that's in best case scenario, right? But that doesn't necessarily give you the framework and the connection styles that you need that build healthy relationships. And that is something that I think we really do need to teach our children much more early, is talk to them about how to have healthy relationships, because we just kind of leave them to figure it out. And that results in a lot of, heartbreak, which isn't necessarily the worst thing in the world. You got to grow through some things, but it can be prolonged, and it can be repetitive, and it can be traumatic. And I think that is unnecessary, because we don't even teach how to choose, how to select, what things to pay attention to. So everything just becomes about attraction, which doesn't lead you to a long-term healthy relationship. So first resource, this was such a game changer. I was studying relationships because they are the vehicles for love, and I love love. So this book I'm going to highly recommend. It's called Wired for Love. And initially, I'm gonna tell you a little story. Is that I was on this relationship summit. It was like all these different relationship coaches and experts, and so I was listening to different things, and it was fantastic. I overlooked that person. I overlooked that message because it sounded boring initially.
Okay.
Everything else was all of the okay, all right, oh yeah, This one, when I went back, because I was taking notes, I did take notes. When I went back, I was like, let me look at this. And when I did, it was everything. Because it's about taking care of your nervous system in relationship, and taking care of your mate's nervous system by understanding their nervous system, by understanding how they got wired through their childhood experiences. It is, and my background is psychology. It is psychology 101. It's attachment styles, baby. How do you attach? And that's going to affect how your relationships go, just the type of relationship that you have. And so knowing your attachment style, knowing what you need that soothes your nervous system is so crucial, especially as you have gone through the difficulties of early relationships and been triggered left and right, and always didn't get your emotional needs met, which is for especially women, but men as well. One of the most incredibly hurtful things in relationships is not having that emotional place of safety, of comfort, of understanding. And so that's why I super recommend the book. It talks about the couple bubble, which is amazing. You got to have a couple bubble.
What is that? Look.
What's that? Tell me about that couple bubble. The couple bubble is really about how to protect your union. It's knowing what your union is and how to protect your usness, especially when you don't exist just in the bubble. You interact with other people in the world. You have family, you have friends, you may have
Mhm.
children, all these other things. But how do you maintain and work together and keep your sense of we're a team and
Mm.
we've got each other?
Nice.
Especially depending on how their nervous system may work, may really be affected, of course, when you go into situations or environments where you are around a lot of other people, where you get
Mhm.
calls in from family members who have demands or expectations that are not necessarily always aligned with what your decisions and choices are as a couple. So
Yeah.
how do you manage those things?
And let
Wow.
me say this right here, while you're right here, babe. This, what's interesting is that, as men, we're not, again, I kind of alluded to this up top, which is, this protection thing. And Soleil really have hammered home, like, hey, feeling safe. I'm like, well, I don't have a problem. I know I'm blind and everything, but I can't get down physically. I can do that on your behalf. That's not a problem. I can also, go out and make money. Yeah, not a problem. But the safety that we have left the gate open around, and now, these very interesting spirits and energy have come in to our black feminines area, and we, as black men, we've left that gate open, and it's really around the emotional protection. And so I in full disclosure, um I'm just getting around to reading the book after, I don't know when you presented it, 2022.
We started it. And he
I
was
started
like,
reading it in 22,
yeah.
but
Okay.
I recently picked it back up, and I'm like, oh, okay, so because I progressed forward in it, and I think that, what it is doing. Me personally, I'm not gonna go into a whole bunch, but I will say, being a Virgo moon and being
Ooh.
a Capricorn, you see. So
Mhm.
I don't, and I'm an island,
Earth,
so
earthy, earthy, earthy.
yeah,
Mhm.
Earthy. Yeah.
nothing really moves me. Like, I'm not in the
Practical.
emotional world. I'm like, but the reality is that to be a multi-dynamic man,
Mhm.
masculine, you will provide that feminine everything necessary. And I'm telling you, it is an extraordinary. And I think this is the method when you first start dating,
Mhm.
give the person you're dating, if you're feeling the energy, if you're feeling it, give the person the book, and y'all work through it, and that be the topic of discussion, not,
Yes.
I like long walks on the beach.
Yes.
Oh, I
Uh-huh.
like to go horseback riding. You know what I'm saying? Skip that. Skip that.
Mhm.
I like a high value man. Yeah, I like my woman. I like big booties. It's like, get out of here with that. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Let's
Yeah.
get to the basics, and the
Mhm.
basics is protection for her and protection for you as a man.
Nice.
Telling you,
Nice.
it is game changing.
It's key.
Woo.
And
I
that's
didn't
why I
I didn't mean to
mentioned,
interrupt, but
there is a wire for dating as well.
Got you. Okay.
Um,
I wrote them back. I wrote them both down.
yeah,
I told
they,
you I'm taking me some notes. I'm
yeah,
getting me some education up in here today, baby, with this
yeah.
couple. You guys, if you're just tuning in, we are rocking with this happily married couple, Soleil and Byron Harden, who bring so much to the table. I want to ask, what have you learned from each other that was different than you were?
hmm
Is there anything that the other
you want me to go?
person brought
Yeah, you can go
that you
first.
didn't focus on before, but that it's new to you that you've learned?
Emotional protection.
Okay.
I can give you three things. I can give you three things,
Okay.
actually. Emotional protection,
Mm-hmm.
really stating your values, really understanding your values. And thirdly, I would say an onslaught of material for, like, strength finders and things like that. These are resources that are game changing
Mm-hmm.
to one's outward and inward being. It is amazing what it has done for me.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't the first one, which is emotional protection, I didn't really understand that in none of my other relationships. I
Okay.
really did not understand that. I thought initially, I got my heart broke pretty bad at like 23, 24 years old, something like that. My
Mm-hmm.
first love, right? And I thought a man was supposed to bring flowers and cut the grass and change the oil and wash the car and fix the things that are broken, really nothing dealing with emotional protection, really dialing in to figure out what is that person, what makes that woman tick, what makes her, what's a hard spot for her? What is what makes her happy, truly, like, and figuring those things out, and not to be all super sappy around it, but to be intentional, and that is a big deal. And when people, because I look at it for myself, if someone was to, give me that type of attention, how I would feel. And so I'm like, yeah, this makes sense. When I say values, the second thing, it wasn't that I didn't have an idea, but Soleil was like, hey, look, here's a list of 25 values. Let's get these let's pick five, pick your top five. And then we had the boys pick their top fives, and then we discuss them, and then you change them. And then so you start really processing through who you are a little bit deeper at your core.
Mm-hmm.
And then lastly is the onslaught of resources, like I said before, which Strength Finders is one of the biggest ones, with which and that's another resource, but that she can discuss further about. But it is something that really allowed me to, in being an entrepreneur and starting to move into executive director role of our new venture. It starts to put me into a different place as a leader. And
Mm-hmm.
so, and real consideration, not just around, myself, my family, but also around the entire systems, the multiple systems that we're dealing with. And that helps
Mm-hmm.
to make a better intersection when it comes time for things to cross pollinate, cross contaminate, if you will. So,
Yeah.
so it's these kind of, I think, uh, resources that have drawn a better Byron Michael Harden.
Nice, nice. And you, Mama, what would you say about what you've learned from him? That was just different. It's an addition to who you are,
Mhm.
and you've gotten it from being around him.
So I would say the first thing is connected with his blindness.
Mm-hmm.
It has definitely opened up a world for me
Mm-hmm.
in relationship to my own sensory IQ. And
Mm-hmm.
even though as a writer, I was happened to be in a really great class that talked a lot about you need to use all the senses in your writing, because a person entering into your story, into your poetry, that's how they enter, is through the senses. It's through the body, which is the senses.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so I was developing that in my writing, which made me spend more time thinking about it.
Okay.
When I was writing, it's like, okay, what am I hearing? Okay, what am I feeling? Okay, what am I, and so kind of tuning into those things and doing this really great exercise of accessing memory through your senses.
Mm-hmm.
But when I got to Byron, because I am visually oriented, which most sighted people are very visually oriented, and we blot out so much other sensory detail because we
Mm-hmm.
are focused on what we see. And that
Yeah.
becomes not just a main truth, but almost the only truth.
Wow.
And it's one, and not recognizing how limited it is.
Yeah.
So I'm still growing and transforming and developing my other senses to be as strong and to pay attention to all of this information and knowledge and wisdom that's coming to us constantly that we blot out. So before I met him, which was interesting, and I realized it was part of the path of meeting him, I would spend a lot of time started spending time in the dark.
Okay. I like
Um,
that.
I would do that with floats, like going to the float chamber and you're in the water and it's like really helping you to get in touch with like deeper creativity and stress reduction and everything. I didn't recognize that was, part of the preparation. I was just thinking of it as, oh, okay, this is a new thing, therapeutic spa
Wow.
type, experience. But I was getting those divine things to like not do a candlelight bath, take a bath in the dark. And what that really pushed me into doing was to realize I had fears around being in the dark, even as an adult, that
Wow.
sometimes all that stuff doesn't really get fully resolved, that you are in ways scared of the unknown, scared of what you can't see.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so your trust is based a lot of times in what you see. But Byron
Interesting.
is not trusting in what he sees, right? So he's using a lot of other faculties and abilities to orient. And that is enormous. I'm going to tell you guys a little story because one of the things too that kind of just like blew me away, like I'd be on the phone talking to him. I'm in California, we on the phone. And he would say, "Oh, you're wearing slippers." I'm like,
Go ahead, Byron. Go ahead, baby.
Slippers,
You better
right?
go ahead and listen
No.
to them slippers, baby. Wait. That boy got a dope Mac. I'm gonna tell you right now. He ain't never Mac'd on me, but I am observing. That's a good old Mac right there. That baby said. That baby said, what's something about your slippers, baby? Ooh, go ahead, Byron. Go ahead, girl. Yes, go ahead.
Mind you, I'm walking around. Slippers are they just
Yeah.
but I'm not even hearing it. I have completely blotted it out.
Yeah.
So a lot of times what happens is he brings my attention to things that are there that I am overlooking, right?
Nice.
When we would be driving, when I first got here, of course, I don't know my way around. He's in the passenger seat. He's the GPS.
Yeah.
He's the GPS. He is telling us where we are. You're going to turn right here. You're going to turn left up here. And I'm like, how do you know where we are? Because he is noticing the changes in the road, how it sounds, how it feels. I'm just looking at the road.
Yeah.
He's all of this sensory detail, right? And I'm like, yeah, don't kidnap him. That ain't, don't do that. Thinking, okay, to kidnap the blind man, he ain't gonna know where it. No, he's gonna know exactly where he is.
He's gonna know exactly, baby.
He's gonna know this is east, this is west.
Yes.
All the sighted people turned all around. He's gonna know. No, we're facing east right now.
I love it.
You start spinning him, he's like, now we're facing south. He knows.
Yes.
And so to start to become aware, becoming more aware, more present. We were walking to an event at the kids' school, at the high school, and we're walking, it's night, and you can hear the pipes. Now, I'm not listening to them. And he says, "What is that through the pipes? You hear that sound? What's that sound?" And I'm like, okay, something is flowing through the pipes. He's like, "What is it?" I'm like, okay. So I'm listening. I'm thinking, now I'm thinking, right? Just
right.
flowing through the pipes. It's water. Nope, it's not water. That's natural gas.
Interesting. What?
So I thought in that moment, it made me aware of just the safety that's provided by having higher sensory IQ.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny that it's funny that she mentioned that, because I asked her and she did say water, but if you can hear it, that means there's no insulation, right? And it's at that time, which is a very key detail. it's in the middle of winter and it's like 0. So
Mm.
water would be frozen.
Yes,
You see.
right.
So it's like, no, something else is going on, and yeah, we're right there by the gas main, which I didn't smell that, but and I think that sensory EIQ is really, really important, even in the relationship. Period. Point blank. And I'm working on mine. As it pertains to her, like, how to really realize when things are starting to get off the rails. If when this is happening, or when is she hurting about something, or when is she, being super contemplative, what is, these are, I'm telling you, that kind of attention to detail is to me where the real reverence come in.
Gotcha.
To that divine feminine.
Especially because he's not seeing me, because he's not,
yes,
he's not
yeah,
picking it up through the visuals, signals that,
yeah,
he's picking up through other signals. So, so all of that, around just the heightened sense of the sensory. And Byron is extremely perceptive, and he perceives a lot that I recognize I miss through what's in people's voices.
Gotcha.
And he hears, and his recognition of people is how they sound.
Ooh.
So even times where he remembers, oh yeah, that's such and such. We met. Oh, that's the lady from the rent-a-car place. She was at the other rent-a-car place. Now I saw the lady. I forgot that's the lady at the rent-a-car place. Right. But sure enough, that was the lady from the other rent-a-car place.
Wow. See?
So
no, I'm just go ahead, girl, because this is, and I can't believe this is over. We got like a few more minutes.
Right. So this is, this is really huge. So my other points is that Byron has always pursued his dreams. He's never not pursued his dreams.
Okay.
And I put my dreams aside to pursue, a different dream. Like, oh, I'm not going to pursue my creative dreams. Let me pursue my academic dreams. And he works on his dreams daily, even if it's in 15-minute segments, which I tend to want to wait until I have like these big blocks of time to do things. And he's like, just step by step, a little bit every day. And in a year, even playing the piano, just where I saw just the leap that he made just in 15 minutes a day, and his development was massive. And I'm waiting for these blocks of time so that I can spend an hour or 2 hours, and I'm in the same place a year later.
Same place, baby. Right. Time is gone at that point.
That's it.
And I want to say this real quick. I want to the 16th was our legal anniversary.
Okay.
Sort of, kind of.
It's sort of, kind of, right.
Date of record.
That's not our real anniversary, but it's date of record, correct. I want to, as it pertains to dream pursuing, I want to vow here in public a whole new thing to my beautiful ascension partner that I want to take, because I know my schedule, I know her schedule is super busy. But I want to take a day or 2 out the week and dedicate it to whatever creative endeavor that she has. That's my energy that I want to give to her and her creativity. and that's as a creative, that is, I think that's our most valuable asset is energy, right? And so whatever she needs me to do, whatever you need me to do, baby, I'll do that.
Okay. This is fantastic. This is amazing.
I couldn't find my tissue.
Really becomes on
Look,
me,
I can't find my tissue. This is a mask.
Because he keeps saying, let me know when you're ready. Let me know when you're ready. And I'm, it's like all of the other things that I tend to put before, so this is like bringing me back to account to say, okay, you want to do this thing. I'm waiting.
Yeah.
Let me know. Nice. Put it on there.
There it is. You guys, I love you so thoroughly. I
love you,
We love you.
ASADAH.
We love
Look,
you.
You know we love you,
I
girl.
could have y'all on for a whole nother hour, just like when I what about when you said, because I done wrote down so many notes, but I do want to thank you guys for real. So I do want to thank you guys for coming on. I love that you have represented yourselves in front of our audience in a way where they could really listen. Brothers, I know you heard what Byron said. Sisters, you heard what my girl Soleil said, and vice versa. You guys said some really pertinent things that we need to take heed to, practice. I love sensory IQ, baby. Oh, that's a strong point today. But yeah, thank you guys for being here on ASADAH Says. It's been a wonderful show. And if
You're
you're
welcome.
watching, just tune in with us next Tuesday for our last Happy Black Marriage of the ASADAH Says theme. For that's
you know
gonna be
you
good.
need to do a follow-up. You know you're gonna get more requests because this
I
is
mean,
good stuff. I love the questions that you ask and the things that you brought forward.
Yeah, yes.
Thank
Really
you.
amazing,
Thank you.
ASADAH.
Thank
I
you.
love this whole series. I'm like, well, dag, for an unmarried
Yeah.
person, I sure do love me some black married couple. I'm all in this. Like,
You in your
let me get
preparation
this.
season.
Girl, look at me shake. Anyway, love you guys. See everybody
Love you,
next
ASADAH. Mwah.
Tuesday. And thank you so much for tuning in to ASADAH Says. Peace.
Peace, peace.
We've come to the end of our show today. If you missed any broadcasts, go to our website for the audio and video archives at www.thefemalesolution.com. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to thank all of you who participated in today's discussions. And to our global family joining us from all around the world, we say thank you. To our family in China, xie xie. India, Dhanyavad. Japan, arigato. Korea, kamsamnida. Russia, spasiba. Germany, danke. Poland, dziękuję. France, merci. Spain, gracias. Italy, grazie. Egypt, shukran. Ghana, madasi. Nigeria, eshe. South Africa, Ngiyabonga. Senegal, Jaref. Kenya, Asante. Israel, Toda. Pakistan, Shukriya. Afghanistan, Tashakur. Saudi Arabia and Palestine, Shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you, and may peace be upon you and the mercy of God and God's blessings.